Steve and I just wanted to let everybody know that we have some upcoming program opportunity notices. And you may be familiar with the program it's called the Clean Vehicle Program. We started running it a few years ago. And it is kind of me to say that that process was tediously laborious and frustrating. And Steve and I think that we have really come a long way as far as streamlining the process going forward. So we have 4 grant opportunities I just want to take a minute to tell you about. We have between $350,000 to $450,000 available in each one. So the first one is a fuel reduction technologies for light duties. You can see the eligible technologies include everything, basically except CNG and propane, because we have those coming later on. So this is a light duty vehicle pond, classes 1 and 2. Next, we have medium duty and heavy duty. Again, fuel reduction technologies other than the CNG and propane. Eligible technologies are the same, and weight classes run from 3 to 8. We've got a CNG propane replacement for all classes of vehicles. We can put these together. So we have CNG, propane, and biofuel this time. We didn't do much biofuel on the last one, I don't think, but we're throwing it in there now. So that's all weight classes, 1 through 8. And we've got waste collection, refuse and recycling vehicles for CNG and propane. So the medium duty, heavy duty grants offer up to $40,000 per technology project, and it goes to 80%. So it's $40,000 up to 80%, or 80% up to $40,000, I guess is a better way to say it. We have these vehicle replacements. The funding can go to either retrofits, existing vehicles, or new purchases with upfits. Either way, you get estimates, and you do the 80% based on your estimate of the project, the differential cost between a regular vehicle and an alternative fuel vehicle. So the grant program is not meant to expand fleets, it's meant to change fleets. So if you do buy a new vehicle, you have to exchange it 1-for-1 for an original vehicle, and you can do that by either destruction or selling it out of the region. Okay, we also have VH 102. This is a state contract, and it's for various EVSE, idle reduction and conversion technologies to get on our state list. So what happens with the state list is that when state agencies and municipalities want to make purchases, they need to get 3 quotes, and we have a pre-vetted list that they can easily go on and grab 3 people and find out what the bids are. And a lot of these situations, there's actually only 1 company, which is fine, because you just simply ask 3 companies and 2 of them can't do it. So your 3rd bid's in. Anything else? This contract's great too, because even though we're doing it in Massachusetts, it's actually being used nationwide. So it's a pretty big boost.
Next is Sejal. Sejal is from the Department of Environmental Protection, and her claim to fame really was the workplace charging program that she very craftily worked with. And I'll tell you, if you're a workplace and you haven't talked to Sejal, you need to, because they have had a great grant program which may be resurrected, but it's wonderful. If you have 15 more employees, see Sejal, you can get some funding towards charging stations for your workplace. So, Sejal, tell us more about the VW program.
So today I'm here to talk about the Volkswagen settlement and the development of the Massachusetts Beneficiary Mitigation Plan. So I'm just going to take you quickly through, if you guys haven't heard about what happened with Volkswagen. We had Volkswagen cheated. They put defeat devices in their vehicles that when EPA was running the test, it would show lower emissions, and when they were actually on the road, the vehicles were emitting a lot more. And a lot more is this. The little blue bars on the bottom are what would show when they were at an EPA lab test, and the larger bars are what happened when they were actually on road and they were tested by the West Virginia University. So the affected vehicles, there are 11 million vehicles worldwide, 590,000 in the US, and of that, 14,000 were in Massachusetts. And that included Audis, Porsches, as well as Volkswagens. And these were all diesels, obviously. So now their settlement came in a few different portions. They had a vehicle buyback where the affected vehicles were either bought back by Volkswagen, Audi, or Porsche, and that was $10.8 billion. Actually, $11.8 billion. There was Electrify America, which some of you may have heard. It was created to launch ZEV infrastructure in the U.S., and for that, they were to spend $2 billion. They had criminal and civil penalties of $4.3 billion, and award to dealers for their hardships of $1.2 billion. What I'm here to talk about is what's in the middle there, and that's $2.7 billion for the Environmental Mitigation Trust. Try saying that 3 times fast, it's hard. So Mass's share of that $2.8 billion is $75 million, and this is based on the number of vehicles we had in our state. The money is to be spent on a variety of NOx-reducing projects, and in order to do this, we have to develop a beneficiary mitigation plan. The settlement requires a lot of very specific things, and one of them is the beneficiary mitigation plan. We have 10 years to spend 80% of the money, which is $60 million, and another 5 years to spend the remaining 20%. And in order to get the money, like I said, we have to do the BMP. The timeline was the trust effective date was October of 2017. Massachusetts was deemed the beneficiary in January of earlier this year, 2018. And right now we're in the development of the BMP. Now, our outreach process, I think I've seen most of your faces at our stakeholder meetings. We held 10 of them early this year. Holyoke, we had to reschedule twice because of snow. So third time was the charm there. And then we also issued a request for information in May. And I appreciate that you guys responded. For those of you that didn't, please do next time if we ever issue these, because this is very important. This is how we collect a lot of our information to program. So I urge you, if you get a chance to respond to an RFI, please do so. Massachusetts' interest in these we've outlined through the stakeholder process. We want to consider all the EMAs. EMA stands for Eligible Mitigation Action, and these are specified in the settlement. These are the 10 EMAs that we can fund. Anything outside of these EMAs, we cannot fund. Use up to 15% to develop EV infrastructure and promote electric vehicles, and this includes hydrogen. Up to 15% for administrative costs if paired with an EMA. Fund projects that electrify transportation and focus on environmental justice and geographic distribution. We want to make sure all of the state is covered, and these are interests that we've outlined from the beginning of our stakeholder process. Now, the draft BMP, we issued this in July 2018. Public comments were accepted through August, and there were 3 main things that we were proposing. It's a spend of $23.5 million. One specific project is to purchase electric transit buses for 2 separate regions in the state, expand EV infrastructure, and an open solicitation for the remaining EMAs. The EMAs, these are your 10 EMAs. So this is large freight and port drayage trucks, school, shuttle, or transit buses, freight switchers, ferries and tugboats, shore power for ocean-going vessels. So this isn't necessarily changing out engines in a big cruise ship or anything like that. This is the onshore power that would electrify the ship when it comes in, so it's not running on fuel. Medium local freight trucks, airport ground support equipment. Those are your little cars, that baggage cars around the airport. Forklifts and port cargo handling equipment. Light duty zero emission vehicle supply equipment, and the DERA option, the Diesel Emissions Reduction Act option. Now, all of these have very specific requirements. They have specific requirements as to model year. It has specific requirements as to scrappage. So I'm not going to go into all of them right now. Actually, this is about as much I can say right now, limited time. But if you want to talk to me about anything specifically, please get in touch with me. I'll be here all day. As far as next steps, we will issue a final BMP to Wilmington Trust by fall of 2018, which is now. So we're hopefully going to do it within the next couple of weeks, and then to develop the programs and solicitation forms. As far as how you can participate, please go to this website and get on the mailing list for notification for anything that happens with VW. Thank you.